So, in the year 2021, after multiple and pauses and breaks and back and forths on my social media, I eventually completely deleted and quit all of my social media accounts from my Instagram to my Twitter and my Snapchat. And in this video, I'm going to be addressing why I quit social media in 2021. What is up, guys? Welcome and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Day, and on this channel, I talk about cybersecurity. In this video, like I mentioned, I'm going to be talking about the 7 reasons why I quit social media in 2021. With that said, let's just dive right into the video. So, I joined social media really early in my life. When I was, I think, maybe around like 10 or 11. This was like back when I was in Nigeria. I did it when I did it like against the wish of my parents. So my parents never really wanted me to be on social media, and back then it was like this social media website called To Go, and I decided to download the app, and I started chatting with people online without my parents knowing, and that's kind of how I got into the whole social media world as a young child, I guess. And then ever since then, I've been on like multiple social media platforms from like Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook. I had a Facebook at one time, and also I had a TikTok for a little bit of a while. So I've been around like most of the social media apps, and I guess I've been on social media for quite a while. I actually got my first Facebook account when I was like 9. Like somebody literally created the account for me. So that's how long I've been on social media, and like that was like when I was 9 or 10, and I'm currently 19. So about like 10 years on social media. But I quit last year, and I'm gonna be talking about why I quit last year. So if you guys know me, like on my social media accounts, I used to go by Day Cyberwalks on my Instagram, my Twitter. My Snapchat was not Day Cyberwalks, but most of my social media content was centered around cybersecurity, kind of like in relation to like my YouTube or my career, my certifications, different things like that. It was really cybersecurity centric. Like my social media was cybersecurity centric, and my friends would tell me like my social media is so boring just because it's only cybersecurity stuff that I post on there. But over time, like I started having to take breaks on social media like multiple times, and this has been something I've been doing for about 2 years. Since like 2019 when I started college, I would take like multiple breaks off social media, like a week break, 2 weeks break here and there, 3 weeks break, a month, 2 months. And I'll come back, later on, and then this sort of continue happen like over the years, and then I felt like last year was like my final straw, and I just decided to completely delete and deactivate like my accounts like out of existence, like completely obliterate them. So the first reason why I deleted social media was because of overstimulation of the mind. So I always felt like I was always stimulated. Like it's just something about social media and the fact that there's always like something to stimulate your mind, whether it's meaningful or not. There are always posts or videos, and the way it's designed, it's like there's always something coming at you, like the videos or like the sounds or like the pictures. Like there's something is always coming at you, and that just keeps your mind in a state of like overstimulation, and that was just not great for me. Like especially me being somebody that likes to be in a really cool and calm state of mind, having that overstimulation was constantly by always being on social media was just not great. And this was like across all of my social media, across my Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter a little bit. Twitter is a little bit more chill, but like that overstimulation was definitely not great. And just for like reference, before I quit social media, I believe I had over 1,000 followers on Twitter. I think over 2,000 or close to 3,000 on Instagram, and Snapchat. I don't really remember the metrics for Snapchat, but yeah, that was one of the reasons why I quit social media. Overstimulation of the mind. Second thing was social validation. So a lot of my followership of social media was from people who knew about like my cybersecurity skills or experiences or my cybersecurity journey. So I am a 19-year-old cybersecurity analyst, and I've been in the cybersecurity industry professionally since I was like 18, and like this is definitely like I guess like a huge feat. Like people usually regard it as a huge feat, and then people always like are super impressed about that feat for me. And of course, I agree that it's definitely like an impressive feat, but like it gets to a point where the social validation started becoming too much, and it's like people are. It's like it gets to your head. It certainly did get to my head like multiple times because people see you as this really awesome like cybersecurity person who is so great at this stuff to the point where you're I was able to like get into the industry when I was 18, and I have all this like amazing experience. So like I used to get like social validation a lot, like, and it's not a bad thing. Social validation is not, and it's inherently not a bad thing, but like I feel like it gets too much sometimes, and it gets to a point where it starts to get into your head. And it's two ways it can go. You start either feeling super proud, or you can be that kind of person where it's like, am I really all that? And I was more on this other side where I used to think to myself, if I was really all that, people validated me to be. People would like DM me, like ask me like certain questions, or would just DM me and tell me, oh, I'm super like impressed by your skills and this and that, and it's great. But like that like the validation was like so constant and so continuous because I was always doing new things, like always taking certifications, or like getting promotions at my job, or like changing jobs, or like getting a better job, or just being validated for things over and over and over and over again. Definitely was getting a lot for me, and that was like another reason why I quit social media. The third reason why I quit social media was amplification of everything. So I feel like social media over amplifies everything, and people have this warped reality of what like the real world really is. So it's like the fact that something happens constantly in the real world, or like something happens constantly in the real world at a certain rate, social media makes it look like it happens way more than it is, or like it's like it just over amplifies everything. For example, let's say in the cybersecurity field, maybe there's like a huge skills gap, or maybe there's like a problem with entry level talent, right? That has always been a problem, right? That's always been a problem. People have always had troubles getting into cybersecurity. I guess like in recent times, but social media makes it look so much more than it actually is. It is really happening, but the fact that so many people are able to come out there, share their stories, and explain their experiences and put their stuff out there makes it looks like it's really more than it is. When in reality, that's just how it's just at a certain normal rate. So the overamplification of everything with social media is definitely like something that just made me want to quit, because like it was just like I was seeing so much of something every single time, and I was like, and I knew to myself that this is not as overplayed in the real world as it is shown on social media. It's just the fact that there's so many people who are able to share their experiences, which is not a bad thing. And if we consider other things that are not maybe cybersecurity related, having over amplified certain situations is definitely not great for like the society and things like that, and also for individuals in general. So the overamplification of certain things definitely was one of the reasons why I quit social media. Now the fourth reason why I quit social media was due to anxiety. So um, have struggled with anxiety. I struggle with anxiety sometimes. I don't really talk about this much, and social media amplifies anxiety a lot. I just don't know how it works, but like there's just so many things that really trigger like the anxiety piece from social media. Maybe from like certain like trigger posts, or like just like the just overusing social media sometimes definitely triggers anxiety, and then sometimes like comparing yourself with other people definitely triggers anxiety. And I'm saying like these are like some things that apply to me. So like maybe I'm seeing somebody out there who's like also in cybersecurity, right? And this person is like doing really good, but in reality, this person is like maybe like years older than me, has been in the industry way longer than me, and is like maybe in a really senior position, and I'm like maybe a year I'm about it like a year and 2 months, or a year and 4 months into my cybersecurity journey. But I would find myself comparing myself with certain people, and maybe like feel a type of way that eventually kind of leads to anxiety, because now I'm overthinking my own journey, or I'm overthinking my experience, when in reality like I'm doing just fine. So, and that's just like one example of things that could like trigger anxiety. Like people can trigger like anxiety. Like people that you follow or people that follow you or people's posts can trigger anxiety. So continuously having to like have that anxiety, those anxiety triggers on social media was definitely one big reason because I hate feeling anxiety. Because it applies in like so many areas of my life where certain things just make me feel super anxious, and I just didn't want to have that social media pressure to continuously fuel that anxiety. So that was definitely one reason why I quit social media. The anxiety piece was just way too much. And then another reason was the fifth reason was the scroll of doom. So I would find myself sometimes, so maybe on like lazy days or like on days where I'm just like trying to just maybe shake off some emotions, maybe like anxiety or maybe like depression or something like that. Like I would just be scrolling. Like you just keep scrolling. That's what I think that's what the scroll of doom is. Like you just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling like to like this seamlessly endless bottom of your social media feed, be it like Instagram or like Twitter. Like you just keep scrolling, and like with Instagram Reels, like there's like so many like videos, so much content on social media that it's just endless. I don't think I've ever gotten to the point of the end of my feed before. Maybe like in the early stages of Instagram, I might have gotten to the end of my feed maybe once or twice, but like recently, like with the way social media is, with the way Instagram and Twitter is, you can never ever run out of content. If it's not somebody you're following or somebody that is following you, you're gonna see content that is definitely targeted for you, and it's gonna be continuous. So like that continuous scroll of doom, like was just like a really really bad habit, and it wasn't like I did it a lot, but it was just like the times where I would do it, I would just realize that I've wasted so much time just scrolling endlessly and pointlessly for for no reason at all. So the scroll of doom is definitely one. If there's any reason why someone should quit social media, the scroll of doom is definitely one of those reasons. It was one of the reasons for me. And then another thing that I actually did not like about social media was the fact that people addressed everything on social media. And this is like the sixth reason why I quit social media. People address every single thing, and for me, it wasn't like it wasn't a thing. It wasn't like a thing for me. It was a thing that people did that made me want to quit social media because it just kept annoying me and pissing me off. And the fact that people would address personal and private issues and bring it to Instagram, like fights, family issues, work issues, business issues, everything. People would literally bring it to social media, and like it's like for me, it was like, why can't you address your issues privately, personally? And I know like the reasons why it's like people would want clout, and just because it's over sensationalism on Instagram, on social media. Like people love the sensation. People love seeing beef. People love seeing fight. People love seeing people have problems, and people are happy to share and to expose their dirty garments on social media just for sensationalism, just for the clout, just for the followers, the views, and all of that. And for me, that was just so vain and so shallow. The fact that people would have small issues with their friends or with their family or with their work or with something, and they would just like bring it on social media to address, and it's like you could have addressed this more cordially or privately or differently, but you chose to bring it to a global platform so you could maybe be featured like on the Shade Room or World Star or something like that. Like for me, that was just so shallow, and I just didn't want to be a part of a community or a social media world where that was just a normal thing to do. So that was one reason, another reason why I quit social media. And the final reason why I quit social media was distraction. So social media inherently is a distraction. I do realize that there are ways where you can use social media, and I do realize there's a thing such as self control. But inherently, social media is a major distraction. In reality, like most of what we do on social media as normal people in general, or most of what I did on social media was post about my life and my cybersecurity stuff, mostly my cybersecurity stuff, and keep tabs of other people's life, right? Whether deliberately or not, I would always have to see something about somebody else's life, and pretty much I'm keeping tabs on that person. So for me, that was just not a. It was not productive. It was not beneficial, and also my YouTube, which a lot of people ask me about, like, oh, how are you driving views to your YouTube? Like, where are your views coming from? Aren't you like promoting your YouTube on your social media, on your Twitter, on your Instagram? Like, 50% of my YouTube views come from Google search or like YouTube search. So my Instagram or my Twitter barely feeds my social media, and I didn't really have that much of a following, like I guess a large following on social media. So the fact that it was a distraction, especially for me, because I really like to be focused. Like, if you watch my video about deep work by Cal Newport, I did a video kind of highlighting like my experience with the book, which is also another factor to which it was another factor that made me quit social media. So I'll leave a link to it, like a card to it somewhere on the corner, so you can watch the video about deep work for cybersecurity. One of the things that the author Cal Newport recommends is quitting social media, due to the fact of its inherent nature as a distraction. And for me, like I have so much going on, especially in my career and just like in my life, that I don't want any distractions, and I didn't want any distractions. So being able to put out that one distraction from my life was definitely a huge productivity booster. So it was during that period I was able to like finish my, the one book I was reading, which was Deep Work. And I've been reading more books. I'm currently reading Atomic Habits, so I want to read more books. I want to study more. I want to spend time more with the people I care about, people around me, and be involved with my relationships with people around me, rather than having those artificial relationships on social media. I feel like a lot of social media relationships are really shallow, and people just tend to think they know you, or they know you like well, because of like what you are, or what you post on social media. In reality, it's like people, you don't really know me from like my social media. Like I'm a lot more than what I post on my social media, and I was only posting cybersecurity stuff, so there's a lot more to me than that. But those are the 7 reasons why I quit social media. Um, just to put this out there, I don't think social media is inherently a bad thing. I don't think all these reasons are, I don't think all these reasons are necessarily all bad reasons. Of course, like some things are really bad, like anxiety, like the scroll of doom, maybe distractions as well. But for me, those were the reasons that were enough for me to completely quit. And in terms of coming back to social media, I feel like I might come back. I'm actually like exploring different ways or different options that would make me come back, or how I would, have a social media account if I were to come back. I feel like I would approach social media from a different perspective. I feel like when I started social media, especially being so young, like the reasons were not necessarily pure. And over time, like the way I built my social media account, I feel like it came to a point where it just wasn't working for me. So if I were to come back, I'll definitely use a different approach, because I feel like I might still have to come back to social media. I dreaded the fact that I would have to come back, but just the way things are looking right now, I might have to come back, because like I have so many involvements this year, and I'm making so many connections, and just the fact that I don't exist on social media sometimes is like suspicious. Sometimes it's like weird. So I might come back, and I feel like when I come back, I will approach it differently. And if it doesn't work out, I'll quit again. I'll keep trying if I need to. But at least for now, I'm still off social media. At least until I deem it necessary to come back, maybe for my involvements, maybe like in terms of like music, because I do music a little bit on the side. So if I have to have a social media just to really have my music being put out there, or to make connections, I might come back. Also, maybe for my personal brand as well, I might still want to use social media for my personal brand, and maybe connecting with people that I don't necessarily have their numbers, or people that are not necessarily that close to me, I guess. But yeah, not to drag this video any much longer. Those were the reasons why I quit social media, and like I said, I might still come back. So fingers crossed. We'll see how that goes. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know what your experience has been with social media. Let me know what things you think are inherently bad about social media or good about social media. So be sure to leave a comment down below. And if you are not yet subscribed, please be sure to smash the like button, and be sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed. And be sure to share this video with anyone who you think would find it valuable. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I truly appreciate you guys. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.